Hey everyone, in this video, I want to take a few moments to explain the difference between AI agents and AI model. What is the real difference between the two? Why is it so important? Let me just show you. I went to YouTube and typed in AI agents explained. Now, if you take a look at it, there are hundreds of videos on this um, AI agent explained. AI agent explained. Here is a AI, what are AI agents, and AI agent simplified. And then as you scroll through, you will see there are hundreds and hundreds of videos on this. And so I wanted to make sure that I really understand what are AI agents versus what are AI models. You hear about AI everywhere nowadays. So this video is to try to make an attempt to explain the difference between AI agent versus AI model, right? So in order to help me understand this, I went this morning to ChatGPT and asked this question. Can you explain the difference between AI agent versus AI model? Sure. Yes, the terms AI agent and AI models are related, but distinct concept in artificial intelligence. That's the answer that ChatGPT provided. And then it gave me the definition of what an AI model is. So if you read it, an AI model is the underlying algorithm or mathematical representation that has been trained on data to perform a specific task. Technical, very technical. It is essentially a function that takes input data and produces an output based on pattern it has learned. AI models can be of various types, including machine learning models, such as decision trees, neural networks, support vector machines, etc. Right? Deep learning models, such as CNN. CNN stand for convoluted neural networks for image processing. Transformers like GPT, which is like natural language processing models, like LLMs that we hear about. And then there is statistical models, which is like regression models. So in summary, an AI model does not act on its own. It needs to be used or deployed. I don't know if you got anything out of this. All I understood from this is there's a whole bunch of technical jargon seems that way, right? But let's take a look at what is the definition of AI agent. An AI agent is a system that acts autonomously in an environment using one or more models to achieve its goal. There is a relationship here. So it seems like the AI agent may be using the AI model underneath. So AI agent perceives its environment through sensors, data input, etc. For example, if you're driving a self-driving car, the car may be taking input from cameras, sensors, right? And then passing it to an image processing module, the model, and then makes decision. So it takes input, processes the information, right? Um, Again, if it is taking data from a camera sensor, in case of autonomous vehicle, it may be passing it to this image processing um, module that is available in the car and then takes action based on that processing. So here are a few examples of AI agents, right? Chatbots, right? If you go to OpenAI and ask a question, chatbot gives you a response. Write me a story about the history of the Panama Canal, right? And it knows what to do and writes you a story. So is a large language model behind the scene to answer that question. Autonomous vehicle, I mentioned, like autonomous vehicle that uses AI models for image recognition, path planning, and decision making. In case of video games, the video games does makes decision based on the player's behavior. And then there is the virtual assistants like Siri, Alexa. If you think about Alexa in your house, the box itself does not have so much intelligence, but it has enough intelligence to take the input, the voice command, and then sends that voice command to some model that understands the command and then performs some tasks, right? So if you think about the AI agent versus AI model, the key difference, I guess, AI models are the core intelligence or the brain that enables the AI system to process information and make predictions, right? And on the other hand, AI agents are active entities that uses the AI models to interact with the environment and makes decision. So the combination of the AI models and the AI agents together would make an AI system, or you may hear the term nowadays, the agentic system. So if the AI agents are acting on the front end and using behind the scene the models to help making decisions, take actions, combination of the two would make an agentic system, and that's the future. For me, actually, this last statement here made it took the point home. To understand it in a more simplistic way, AI model is like a calculator, and an AI agent is like a robot that knows how to use the calculator to solve math problems. So think about it. Calculator, if you leave it on the top of it, desk, it does not do anything. Or if it is a soft calculator in a computer program, it doesn't do anything. However, if you write a software robot that and you ask the software robot, calculate my tax return, or you know add up the number 2 and 3, it should be able to give an answer 5. But the software robot itself doesn't need to have the logic or do the math. It can just simply call a calculator, which is the model, and give you the result, right? So this actually really explained to me in a I would say probably 2-year old level what is the difference between an AI model and AI agent is. So instead of producing, same content that many other people have spent a lot of time creating, I decided to expand my own knowledge of how this thing really works. I found a video here, this one, um, called AI Agents Explained Like You Are Five. Seriously, easiest explanation ever, and I agree with this video. And then, so I will watch this, and then this video, how to get rich in the era of 2025 with AI. This shows you practical application of AI agents you could use really to start your own business. And then this video, what are AI agents, takes a look at more of a professorial look of how AI agent system works, right? So let's take a look at these videos, and hopefully you will learn something from this, and your concept of AI agents, and AI model will be crystal clear.
Agents are the new apps. And we expect someday for there to be thousands of agents available. We want 1,000 agents to bloom.
So I think we're going to live in a world where there are going to be hundreds of millions and billions of different AI agents. Eventually, probably more AI agents than there are people in the world.
For the very first time, this is going to be an industry of skills. And you capture that phrase and you call it agents. But it's going to be, for the very first time, agents sitting on top of tools.
If you're here, it's probably because you've been hearing a lot about AI agents lately. Maybe you've even checked out some other videos that got way too technical, and you thought,
why don't you explain this to me like I'm 5?
Well, guess what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the most straightforward, real-world explanation of what an AI agent is. So what is it? You probably already know that AI stands for artificial intelligence. But here's where it gets interesting. AI by itself is like raw brain power. It's got all this potential, but it's not really useful until you give it a job. Enter the AI agent. Think of AI as the genius with a million ideas, and the AI agent is the one who actually gets stuff done. While AI is all about smarts, an AI agent is the practical, hands-on version. It's like giving that genius a task and saying, okay, now go do something useful with all that brain power. The AI agent takes the intelligence of AI and turns it into action, whether it's answering your questions, automating your work, or handling your to-do list. It's the difference between knowing how to do something and actually doing it. So while AI is the brains, the AI agent is the one rolling up its sleeves and making things happen. Here is the 1, 2, 3 of AI agents. Number 1, they understand. AI agents listen to what you're asking or needing. Number 2, they think. They process this information and figure out the best way to help you. And number 3, they act. Finally, they deliver what you need, whether it's an answer, a solution, or help completing a task. Now, how do they work? Imagine your parents are heading out for the evening and leaving the babysitter in charge. They don't just walk out the door, they give them instructions. What time you need to go to bed, what you can have for a snack, and what to do in case of an emergency. That's exactly how AI agents are trained. Developers provide these agents with detailed instructions using data, so they know exactly how to respond in different situations. Some agents come pre-programmed with basic instructions, like a babysitter who's already experienced. Others can be customized to fit your needs, like giving the babysitter special rules for kids. Once set up, these AI agents handle tasks just as smoothly as a well-informed babysitter, freeing you up to focus on other things. So what does an AI agent actually look like? When we talk about what an AI agent looks like, it's helpful to think of it as a combination of two things: an interface and a workflow. The interface is how you interact with the AI agent, maybe through a chat window, a voice assistant, or even a button on a website. But behind that interface is where the real magic happens, and that's the workflow. Imagine a flowchart. You ask the AI agent a question or give it a command through the interface. That's the starting point. From there, the AI agent follows a series of steps or nodes in a workflow. These nodes could involve accessing information from a database, making a decision based on what it finds, or even performing a task like sending an email. The nodes in this workflow might change depending on what you ask or what the AI agent needs to do next, but it's all behind the scenes. So while you only see the interface, what's really happening is that the AI agent is working through a whole process to get you the best result. Now here's a simple 4-step illustration of that process. The first is the input. You ask a question or give a command. The second is processing. The AI agent thinks about what you've asked and searches for the best way to respond. Number 3 is action. The AI agent gives you an answer, finds information, or performs a task. And fourth is learning. The more you use it, the smarter it gets, learning from past interactions to improve. So why is it important? AI agents are about to trigger a seismic shift in how we live and work, especially for local businesses and those who support them. Imagine AI handling routine tasks, freeing business owners to focus on growth and innovation. For local businesses, this could mean smarter customer service and more efficient operations, while agencies and service providers can deliver more value with less effort. This isn't just like another tech upgrade. It's likely the biggest transformation we'll see in our lifetime. Those who embrace AI agents now will have a major advantage, while those who don't risk being left behind in a rapidly changing world. In short, AI agents are set to revolutionize how work gets done, and the impact will be massive. I hope this video helped you learn the basics of AI in a way that's easy to understand. I know there
So I just stopped this video here. I think this video does an amazing job explaining what is the difference between AI agent and AI models are. AI agents are sort of like the front end, the doing the pre-processing work and then putting things together, versus the model is sort of like the brain. So, for example, if you say, I am speaking in English, need to translate into German, and then send an order to somebody in Germany, AI agent is going to take the instruction that, okay, if English has been spoken, send it to a language translation model that will convert the text from English to German and then send it over, write an email to somebody in Germany. That would be a one way to think about the difference between an AI agent and an AI model. Now, I'm gonna go into stop this video, and so that was sort of explaining what is the difference between AI agent versus AI model. But then, how do you use them? Where is it going? There's a discussion that everything is going to be an agentic workflow in the future, and this video just described that if you are not on it, you're going to be left behind. So I found another video, which is how to get rich in the new era of AI in 2025. This shows you how to use AI agents in various use cases. Let's watch this.
The AI gold rush is here. The death of Google and smartphones has arrived. Vertical AI agents are about to start replacing the entire teams. The world as we know it is about to change forever. Just consider the rate of change in new models and techniques. It's clear that we haven't hit the scaling wall. Every few months, things just keep getting progressively better. But I don't want you to get left behind. So I'm gonna break down the biggest opportunities that you can capitalize on and get rich during this 2025 AI revolution, even if you're starting from zero. Now, before you can start making money, you need to figure out what niche you're going to target with your AI services. If you already have your niche, you can skip this step. The best way to pick a niche is to start with what you know. What do you like? What are you passionate about? If you pick something that you're not that passionate about, you're not going to put in the time and energy. In addition to that, you want to look up the other companies in that vertical that you're passionate about. Look at their stock price. Look specifically for their market cap. The larger their market cap, hopefully well into the billions, if not tens of billions or hundreds of billions, the bigger of the opportunity it is. And although I said pick a niche, you want to pick a subset of that market, and eventually you'll want to expand to that larger market, which opens up more revenue generation opportunity for you. Think about your skill sets. Are you great at video production, design, creating content, math, science? What are you genuinely interested in or excited about? If you go into an area that's boring, you will burn out and you won't put in the time and effort that's needed to be successful. But the key is to not go too broad. If you go after everyone, it's hard to make money because it's too time intensive and too costly to do that. It doesn't mean that you can't eventually go after everyone, but at the beginning, you want to start with the niche and then expand. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking about like Facebook or Amazon and how they work for everyone. But if you go back, remember that Facebook was originally for Ivy League university students, and Amazon originally only sold books. Okay, now we've got a niche. We can go through the 5 biggest opportunities for making money with AI this year, starting with AI agents.
AI agents.
Agents are emerging as
Agents are the thing everyone is talking about.
More AI agents.
The opportunity for agents is gigantic.
Think of it this way. If ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, etc. are like the brain, the AI agents are like the body that can actually go and do things on their own. For example, here's an agent that can match resumes to job posts and apply to jobs automatically. There are hundreds and thousands of businesses that are looking to use AI agents this year, and you can build them even with no existing coding or tech expertise. You can go to websites like crewai.com and start building AI agents that can execute specific tasks for businesses in your target niche. Things like sales, marketing, analytics, or even finance. With sales AI agents, they help you do things like analyze the score of a lead by looking at things like interactions, engagements, or even patterns. This way, your team knows what leads to prioritize and which leads to ignore. The last thing you want to do is pay sales reps to talk to leads that won't ever convert into customers. And when it comes to marketing, everyone knows that personalized experiences convert better. With marketing-driven AI agents, they can help you personalize the copy, the content that you're showing to each individual, which will cause you to convert more of those visitors or followers into leads and customers. You can appeal to different audience segments, which will help improve your conversion rates as well. With analytics, AI agents can help pinpoint the right kind of traffic that's generating the best revenue for you. Just because one customer buys from you and another buys from you, it doesn't mean they're equal. The first customer may come back 10 times and continually buy from you, while the second customer may only buy once from you. You ideally want the right customers that keep buying from you over and over again. AI agents can help you find them by telling you where to focus your marketing efforts. When it comes to finance, AI agents can tell you the lifetime value of your customers and your campaigns. It can even show you which campaigns create the highest lifetime value and which campaigns aren't profitable, so that way you can stop the bleeding and focus not just on revenue growth, but profitability. The second high potential opportunity I'd recommend to make money with AI is translation services. The world is increasingly become globalized. The most successful businesses and brands are international. They're not US, they're not Australian, they're not Chinese, they're not Indian. You think Tesla, Coca-Cola, Nike, these are all examples of global brands. A great example that everyone can relate to is Mr. Beast. His channel is in different languages. Apple's website is also in different languages. Even our own website, NP Digital, is in multiple languages because that helps us make more revenue. There's more people overseas than there are in the United States. The US may have the highest GDP, but if you combine the rest of the world, there's more money than if you just focus on the United States. This is really high potential because most people don't know anything about other languages. They just know about the languages that they speak in, and that's it. The opportunity is huge. The way I would consider doing it, whether it's with your website, blog, social media content, or even videos, you can use 11 Labs and they can translate and transcribe all of your content and audio into different languages for you. And all these other businesses want it, so you can start doing it for them as well. My third idea to get rich on AI this year is AI podcast services. The global podcast market is projected to grow from $36.28 billion in 2024 to $47.83 billion in 2025 at a compounded annual growth rate of 31.8%, and is projected to reach $134.68 billion by 2029. There are two specific ways to leverage AI to offer podcast services. You can turn people's blog articles and newsletters into podcasts by cloning the person's voice and then feeding the written content into text to voice software. You can even earn bonus cash for doing the person's publishing and marketing for them. The second thing you can do with podcasting and AI is you can take people's long form clips, upload them into Opus AI, and get short form clips that you can upload for social media. Here's the key. Take that long form clip and upload it multiple times. You'll then get a lot of recommendations for short form clips. And that way you can pick and choose the best ones. In essence, you're combining AI with your skills and your knowledge. Opportunity number 4 for getting rich with AI in 2025 is AI data visualization. Beautiful images that help people understand complex data. For example, there's these things called infographics. Infographics take up all this complex data and helps people understand it in a visual. For example, the meaning of colors. In that infographic, you can explain what each color represents, what it means, how it impacts conversions, what type of brands and industries should use different types of colors. This all helps people understand complex things in easy to understand ways. The reason companies are willing to pay for this is A, these kind of pieces of content go viral on the internet. B, they generate a lot of backlinks, which helps companies rank higher on Google. And C, when people understand complex information, they're much more likely to convert into a customer, so it's increasing conversion rates as well. The way you can end up doing this through AI is you can take all the data sets you have, put it into Piktochart, and it can help you create beautiful infographics through AI. The fifth big AI money-making opportunity this year is AI website building, and honestly, it's like stealing candy from a baby. It's so easy. Even though businesses could easily create a website themselves, like through 10web.io, they either don't know it exists or they're too lazy to do it themselves. You can target newly formed LLCs who aren't going to care about having a super elaborate website and will just want something that works and looks decent. Now with this idea, there's going to be a lot of competition. So it's important that you get good enough to be better than 99% of the people out there. The way you get really good at this is to try to create a lot of websites yourself. When you go through the step-by-step tutorial on 10web.io, you'll find that certain prompts give better outputs. Certain prompts give terrible outputs. When you try it more than a handful of times, like if you spend 3-4 hours on it, eventually you'll get good where you'll know what prompts and what to put in to give people the output and website that they're looking for. You can also earn bonus cash if you provide SEO optimization and blog content for their website. People will pay for this. It costs a lot of money to advertise in Google, so why wouldn't companies want that traffic without spending $1 on ads? And for you, keep in mind that it's easier to get an existing customer to pay you more than it is to find a new customer. Now, obviously, the most important part of all these AI business models is actually getting customers. When I was in high school, what I would do is I would run right home after school. I would get home around 3 o'clock. I would go on Google and call all the people that were spending money on ads. And I would hit them up and offer them services. Majority of them would say no. But then I started telling people, if you like what I produce, pay me. If not, don't pay me. And once I built up enough of a base of case studies, I was then able to go to people and showcase the results that I produce and then charge people instead of offering them free work and only getting paid if they liked it. If I could do this when I was 16 years old, anyone can. For example, you can go to Crunchbase and see all the new founded companies and hit them up and offer services. These companies just raise money. When someone raises money, their investors expect faster growth. So if you can just go to them and offer to do the work for them, they're more likely to pay you than try to do it on their own, because the thing that they value the most is time. There's so many channels, you have tons of opportunities, but if I were starting from one, I would target the recently funded companies on Crunchbase, because they have no choice but to spend the money fast to cause more growth.
So this video is more of a practical application of the AI and the AI agent, how you could be using them potentially to start your own business. And then I have one more video that I wanted to look at here, is what are AI agents? It's basically the more theoretical version of the video. It explains in detail in a technical term how AI agent works with AI models. Now this video was more of a dumbed down version of this one here was more of a let's call the AI agent for dummies. But this is more of a professorial view of the AI agent and AI model. So let's take a look at this.
2024 will be the year of AI agents. So what are AI agents? And to start explaining that, we have to look at the various shifts that we're seeing in the field of generative AI. And the first shift I would like to talk to you about is this move from monolithic models to compound AI systems. So models on their own are limited by the data they've been trained on. So that impacts what they know about the world and what sort of tasks they can solve. They are also hard to adapt. So you could tune a model, but it would take an investment in data and in resources. So let's take a concrete example to illustrate this point. I want to plan a vacation for this summer, and I want to know how many vacation days are at my disposal. What I can do is take my query, feed that into a model that can generate a response. I think we can all expect that this answer will be incorrect because the model doesn't know who I am and does not have access to this sensitive information about me. So models on their own could be useful for a number of tasks, as we've seen in other videos. So they can help with summarizing documents. They can help me with creating first drafts for emails and different reports I'm trying to do. But the magic gets unlocked when I start building systems around the model and actually take the model and integrate them into the existing processes I have. So if we were to design a system to solve this, I would have to give the model access to the database where my vacation data is stored. So that same query would get fed into the language model. The difference now is the model would be prompted to create a search query. And that would be a search query that can go into the database that I have. So that would go and fetch the information from the database, output an answer, and then that would go back into the model that can generate a sentence to answer. So Maya, you have 10 days left in your vacation database. So the answer that I would get here would be correct. This is an example of a compound AI system, and it recognizes that certain problems are better solved when you apply the principles of system design. So what does that mean? By the term system, you can understand there's multiple components. So systems are inherently modular. I can have a model, I can choose between tuned models, large language models, image generation models, but also I have programmatic components that can come around it. So I can have output verifiers. I can have programs that can take a query and then break it down to increase the chances of the answer being correct. I can combine that with searching databases. I can combine that with different tools. So when we're talking about a system approach is I can break down what I desire my program to do and pick the right components to be able to solve that. And this is inherently easier to solve for than tuning a model. So that makes this much faster and quicker to adapt. Okay, so the example I used below is an example of a compound AI system. You've also might be popular with retrieval augmented generation, which is one of the most popular and commonly used compound AI systems out there. Most RAG systems, and the example I used below, are defined in a certain way. So if I bring a very different query, let's say I ask about the weather in this example here, it's going to fail because the path that this program has to follow is to always search my vacation policy database, and that has nothing to do with the weather. So when we say the path to answer a query, we are talking about something called the control logic of a program. So compound AI systems, we said most of them have programmatic control logic, so that was something that I defined myself as the human. Now, let's talk about where do agents come in. One other way of controlling the logic of a compound AI system is to put a large language model in charge. And this is only possible because we're seeing tremendous improvements in the capabilities of reasoning of large language models. So large language models, you can feed them complex problems and you can prompt them to break them down and come up with a plan on how to tackle it. Another way to think about it is on one end of the spectrum, I'm telling my system to think fast, act as programmed, don't deviate from the instructions I've given you. And on the other end of the spectrum, you're designing your system to think slow. So create a plan, attack each part of the plan, see where you get stuck, see if you need to readjust the plan. So I might give you a complex question, and if you would just give me the first answer that pops into your head, very likely that answer might be wrong, but you have higher chances of success if you break it down, understand where do you need external help to solve some parts of the problem, and maybe take an afternoon to solve it. And when we put LLMs in charge of the logic, this is when we're talking about an agentic approach. So let's break down the components of LLM agents. The first capability is the ability to reason, which we talked about. So this is putting the model at the core of how problems are being solved. The model will be prompted to come up with a plan and to reason about each step of the process along the way. Another capability of agents is the ability to act. And this is done by external programs that are known in the industry as tools. So tools are external pieces of the program, and the model can define when to call them and how to call them in order to best execute the solution to the question they've been asked. So an example of a tool could be searching the web, searching a database at their disposal. Another example could be a calculator to do some math. This could be a piece of program code that maybe might manipulate a database. This can also be another language model that maybe you're trying to do a translation task and you want a model that can be able to do that. And there's so many other possibilities of what can do here. So these could be APIs, basically any piece of external program you want to give your model access to. Third capability, that is the ability to access memory. And the term memory can mean a couple of things. So we talked about the models thinking through the program, kind of how you think out loud when you're trying to solve through a problem. So those inner logs can be stored and can be useful to retrieve at different points in time. but also this could be the history of conversations that you as a human had when interacting with the agent, and that would allow to make the experience much more personalized. So the way of configuring AI agents, there's many ways to approach it. One of the most popular ways of going about it is through something called ReACT, which, as you can tell by the name, combines the reasoning and act components of LLM agents. So let's make this very concrete. What happens when I configure a ReACT agent? You have your user query. That gets fed into a model, so an LLM. The LLM is given a prompt. So the instructions it's given is, don't give me the first answer that pops to you. Think slow, plan your work, and then try to execute something, try to act. And when you want to act, you can define whether if you want to use external tools to help you come up with the solution. Once you call a tool and you get an answer, maybe it gave you the wrong answer or it came up with an error, you can observe that. So the LLM would observe the answer, would determine if it does answer the question at hand or whether it needs to iterate on the plan and tackle it differently up until I get to a final answer. So let's go back and make this very concrete again. Let's talk about my vacation example. And as you can tell, I'm really excited to go on one. So I want to take the rest of my vacation days. I'm planning to go on to Florida next month. I'm planning on being outdoors a lot, and I'm prone to burning. So I want to know, what is the number of 2-ounce sunscreen bottles that I should bring with me? And this is a complex problem. So there's a number of things to plan. One is, how many vacation days am I planning to take? And maybe that is information the system can retrieve from its memory because I asked that question before. 2 is, how many hours do I plan to be in the sun? I said I plan to be in there a lot, so maybe that would mean looking into the weather forecast for next month in Florida and seeing what is the average sun hours that are expected. 3 is maybe going to a public health website to understand what is the recommended dosage of sunscreen per hour in the sun. And then 4, doing some math to be able to determine how much of that sunscreen fits into 2-ounce bottles. So that's quite complicated. But what's really powerful here is there's so many paths that can be explored in order to solve a problem. So this makes the system quite modular, and I can hit it with much more complex problems. So going back to the concept of compound AI systems. Compound AI systems are here to stay. What we're going to observe this year is that they're going to become more agentic. The way that I like to think about it is you have a sliding scale of LLM autonomy. And the person defining the system would examine what trade-offs they want in terms of autonomy in the system. For certain problems, especially problems that are narrow, well-defined, so you don't expect someone to ask about the weather when they mean to ask about vacations. So a narrow problem set, you can define a narrow system like this one. It's more efficient to go the programmatic route, because every single query will be answered the same way. If I were to apply the agentic approach here, there might be unnecessarily looping and iteration. So for narrow problems, programmatic approach can be more efficient than going the agentic route. But if I expect to have a system accomplish very complex tasks, like say trying to solve GitHub issues independently, and handle a variety of queries, a spectrum of queries, this is where an agentic route could be helpful because it would take you too much effort to configure every single path in the system. And we're still in the early days of agentic systems. We're seeing rapid progress when you combine the effects of system design with agentic behavior. And of course, you'll have a human in the loop in most cases as the accuracy is improving.
So I just stopped this video here. This was obviously more of the theoretical view of the world of AI agent, agentic system, and AI models. Now, given these three, I'm going to stop this right here, come back to my document. So these three videos that we just watched, AI agent explained, to a 5-year-old. I think this is more of the simplest explanation of it. Of course, this one was the more of a academic version of it. And then this is the practical use of AI to hopefully open your business. I hope you found this comparison of these three videos helpful, and you also have a better understanding of what is an AI agent versus what is an AI model. At least I do. For me, this example brings the point home like a calculator, thinking the calculator itself being is the model, and then someone who is using the calculator, taking the input and putting the right information into the calculator is the agent. That's the simplest way to think about it. Um, if you found anything helpful in this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.